Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. I have some lighting over here, I have lighting over here, I have the fan over here. I'm good. So right now the time is approximately 8:37 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Monday, July 6th, 2020. I feel good, and I'm drinking some delicious tea, and in fact I'm going to have another sip now. There will be several close-ups in this video, so I've begun to nickname this video the close-up video. Starting with the tea that I'm drinking, which is Twining's Wild Berries, a full-flavored herbal tea made with the naturally sweet flavors of raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, and black currants. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of this beautiful box that houses this beautifully delicious tea. I added honey and a little bit of lemon to my cup, by the way. It's so good. And I'm also going to have him do a close-up of my beautiful gray moonstone pendant. I think some of you know that I change pendants depending upon the transiting sun signs. Since the moon rules Cancer, and moonstone is named after the moon, I always wear this moonstone pendant when the sun is in Cancer. It is one of my personal favorites, and you know, these days it's so rare to see gray moonstone. Usually it's rainbow moonstone, but there is white moonstone and gray moonstone, and there's black moonstone, which I didn't even know there was black moonstone until I received an email from Etsy informing me of a new Etsy follower. And one of her favorite shops is this shop that sells black moonstone. I was like, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I know it's going to look even more gorgeous when it's in my hands, but I digress. So with that being said, I wanted to do the next video in my ongoing series of one of my personal favorite ongoing series of videos, the Llewellyn's Tarot Calendar series. So this is from Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar, and specifically, and I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the cover, because, you know, with this series, it's the same thumbnail image, so, you know. Anyway, did I do that too fast? Okay. Sometimes I get so excited I don't wait until the close-up is done. So we're going to go to July, and the card is the Justice card from Modern Spellcasters Tarot, which I happen to own a copy of. But, you know, let's just say that the few times that a client contacts me for ritual work and spellcraft, that's the tarot deck that I use for them. I have a different deck. I have a different tarot deck that I use for my own rituals and spells. One that I'm actually long overdue to renew using, but I digress. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the July entry of Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar. And by the way, in case you have not noticed, or in case you didn't know from my previous video, one can pre-order the Llewellyn's 2021 Tarot Calendar, which I'm actually going to do. And I think I need to do it this month, unless this is the month that it's published. Remember, Llewellyn's annuals are usually published in July or August. So this calendar was published in August of 2019. No, it was July. Or was it August? You know, I don't remember right now. Let's say for the sake of argument it was August. So in August of 2019, Llewellyn officially published their Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar. So either this month or next month is when Llewellyn publishes the Llewellyn's 2021 Tarot Calendar. But anyway, so I'm going to read what the Barbara Moore wrote about the Justice card. I'm going to read what she wrote about one of the symbols in this particular Justice card. I'm going to read her articles, The Arms of Justice, and Tip Unusual Symbols. But first, I'm going to take a sip of this wondrous tea. By the way, I love being a Twining's tea snob, and I am absolutely unapologetic about it. Just an FYI. Oh my God, I'm going to drink the entire cup before the video's done. Okay, So this is what she wrote about the Justice card. Ready or not, for good or ill, it is time to face the consequences of your actions. Justice is served to all, even if not always in the time or way that we prefer. Now, what I love about the Justice card is that it really is about balance and harmony. Well, for me, intuitively, it's about balance and harmony. And, you know, for me, because my primary pantheon is the Kemetic or the ancient Egyptian pantheon, I tend to think of Mayet when I see this card. And of course, you know, there are a lot of things on the internet that seem to imply that Mayet is the same goddess as Isis. I remember years ago I used to give readings in this metaphysics store in Queens, and one of the employees had shown me this box that had Isis on the cover, the goddess Isis. And I'm looking at the cover of the box, I'm like, that's the goddess Mayet. And she said, well, they said it's Isis. I said, I understand, but Isis's symbol is a throne. That's a feather, specifically an ostrich feather. And traditionally it's a red ostrich feather. So if you see a goddess that's winged, and she's wearing an ostrich feather or a bird's feather on the top of her head, that's not the goddess Isis, it is the goddess Mayet. And I have it on good authority that her name is pronounced Mayet, because several years ago, when I was at one of my favorite metaphysics stores in Manhattan, Stick, Stone and Bone, I met a woman whose name is Mayet, and she said to me, this is how you pronounce Mayet. I was like, okay, I'm going to take that as the authority. But I was so happy to meet her, and all these years later, of course, I remember her name and her face. And just, I loved everything about her. Her energy and her acceptance. You know, this is a woman who practices a religion that can be very homophobic. And this woman had no issue being in my presence. She had no issue being in a store that is metaphysical and mystical and Native American in nature, and it was just wondrous to be in her presence. So when I see the Justice card, for me it is about the presence of Mayet, and it is about the need for balance and harmony, and it is about balance and harmony bringing forth transformation, or as I would say, life-altering transformation. Remember, the major arcana cards are the cards that represent powerful spiritual forces or powerful magical energies, if you will. And I really do believe that the major arcana cards are keys, just like their alternate name. You know, major arcana cards individually are referred to as trumps, as in Trump 1, the Magician, Trump 2, the High Priestess, Trump 17, the Star, or in this case, I actually forgot if in this tarot deck it is Trump 11 or Trump 8. Astrologically, it makes more sense that it is Trump 11. But in the description box, since I have this tarot deck, I'll look to see if it's Trump 8 or Trump 11. But they're also called keys, as in Key 11, Justice, Key 19, the Sun. So the major arcana cards are keys to creating something in your life, or bringing down a magical energy that can bring forth a powerful manifestation. Now, the arms of justice. Justice is the universal force that keeps the world in balance. This idea is symbolically represented by the figure's arms in positions similar to the magician. Indeed, because if you look at most magician cards, he's holding, or they, to be more all-inclusive, they are holding one wand in the right hand and one wand in the left hand. The one in the right hand is pointed upward, the one in the left hand is pointed downward. As above, so below. As within, so without. And it is interesting to note that, and again, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the card in the... Hello, Durga. In the card, you will see that she is holding the pair of scales in her right hand, that's right, above, and she's holding a pomegranate in her left hand, pointing downward, as in below. So, the positions are similar. One arm is raised up, indicating a connection with spirit. The other is down, showing justice manifest in this world. Thank you, Durga. By the way, I'm doing a video, just so you know. No reaction. Anyway, showing justice manifest in this world. Justice is part of the cycle of life, with every action having consequences. Whether we deem the consequences fair or arbitrary, good or bad, probably depends on whether we are on the receiving end of justice or watching someone else get their just desserts. When this card comes up in a reading, it reminds us to consider our present actions carefully, as they will have important consequences. It may also remind us that if we aren't happy with current circumstances, perhaps we should review past behavior to see how we ended up in this pickle. And that doesn't mean that you're to blame. I have a thing about blame. My position on blame is very simple. Nothing and no one helps with blame. I can blame a bazillion people for things in my life being shitty. That's not going to do shit for anybody, least of all for me. I can blame X for this, I can blame Y for that. That's not going to help me. That's going to keep me in a victimization mode that's going to disempower me and it's going to destroy me. Not to mention it's going to deplete my health and vitality. And I really don't want that. And all of you know why I don't want that, aside from the obvious. Symbol, the pomegranate. When Persephone ate the pomegranate seeds, she had to face the consequences and stay in the underworld. While this is an unusual symbol for justice, it is an apt one. And I must admit, I love the fact that, there is a steampunk vibe to these cards. Because if you really look, and again, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the image again. If you look at her left hand, it's a mechanical hand. And you can see that the skin of her hand, her left hand rather, is absent. And she's holding the pomegranate with either a skeletal hand or a mechanical hand. And I love this, this belt of wheat, because it looks like wheat to me. And that's an appropriate image for a Greek goddess anyway. Although I don't believe that this is Persephone, but she does look very Persephone-ish to me. Tip. Unusual symbols. Not all tarot decks rely on the same symbolism. This is one reason why we love collecting decks. I'll admit it, I happen to love collecting decks for that reason too. It is amazing to see how others interpret the cards. These new ideas likewise shape our interpretations, so we are always expanding our understanding. Don't make the mistake of discounting a symbol just because you've never seen it used before. Oh, I love this tea. Let me read that one more time. Don't make the mistake of discounting a symbol just because you've never seen it used before. Symbols are living things, growing and changing as societies grow and change. When something puzzles you, open up and let new ideas in. Research, think, meditate. Find the connections that weren't first apparent. And I'm going to share with you a tip of my own. And I don't remember exactly who taught me this. I want to say it was my very first spiritual teacher, Denise. But I might be wrong about that. And one of the things, but for the sake of argument, I'll say that it was Denise. So let's say that the cover of the box of the Hanson Roberts tarot deck is a tarot card. And let's say that, and I'm going to say you because you're the one watching the video. I already do this, but I'm happily sharing this advice with you, or sharing this tip with you of my own. So let's say that there is a card in a tarot deck, or an oracle card deck if you prefer, and you're stumped. You're like, I don't know what this means for this client, for this position in this spread right now. Close your eyes, take your left hand, which for many is the receiving hand, and place it on top of that card. And you can also ask that card in your mind, what does this client need to know right now? Or if you're asking for yourself, what do I need to know right now? Or better yet, what do you need to tell me? And I have done this with professional clients, and I don't feel uncomfortable doing it. In fact, I happen to love doing it. I really dig doing it in front of a paying client. So, and even if you're not charging fees for readings, by all means, feel free to do this when you're stumped by a card. And let's say for the sake of argument that, you know, this is, because this is the Queen of Rods. So let's say the Queen of Rods, I'm not understanding what she's saying. So I'm going to pretend that I'm giving everybody a reading right now, and I'm not getting a clear sense of the Queen of Rods. So I'm going to say, what do you want us to know right now? You know, I got an answer. I got an answer. So I'm going to tell you what the answer is. So the answer is take care of your fire. And I'm going to interpret that both literally and figuratively. So take care of that sacred fire in your heart. And also take care of that fiery energy. You know, like if you're feeling down and dumpy, or if you're feeling ennui. I love the word ennui. If you're feeling mech and blech, you know, light a candle or visualize a brilliant roaring fire, or work with a fire goddess. You know, I love Pele. Even though the Hawaiian and Polynesian pantheon is not my primary, secondary, or tertiary pantheon, I love Pele's energy. Pele is about divine passion. She's like, you know, whatever your heart's desire is, acknowledge it, celebrate it, bask in it. And if you need extra motivation to make it happen, call upon me. You know, no matter how consumed Pele would become by her jealousy or her rage, she always brought forth something good in it. Like as soon as that lava hit the ocean's waters, all of these islands were born. I think I remember reading an article years ago that said that Hawaii is comprised of more than 1,000 islands. And I was like, 1,000 islands? This bitch was pissed off. And look at all she brought. You know? So that's one of my tips for you. You know, it's like, really like, and I love doing it. It's a thrill for me actually. I enjoy it, it's very fun, and it's a very powerful and simple way to connect with the cards. It's like, what do you need me to tell this client? What do I need to know right now? What do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell this client? And believe me, the more you do this, the faster and the more concise the answers will be. I mean, I was surprised at how fast I received something from the Queen of Rods. So anyway, that's my tip. And did I finish reading this article? Yes, I did. Research, think, meditate. Find the connection that weren't first apparent. Find the connections that were not first apparent. And believe me, the connections are there. So I'm going to end this video a little bit differently than I normally do. I want to show all of you two things that one thing I purchased today, and one thing I received today from Amazon. But first, a sip of this ever delicious tea. So, most of you know that since last year, since I first began offering monthly goddess classes, lunar colors have become much more prominent in my world. But today I found a set of pens, one of my favorite brands of pens, Pilot brand, that are more oceanic and aquatic in color and in aesthetic, if you will. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of these beautiful oceanic color scheme pens. And I want to tell you, it's been a while since I've gotten excited over blue pens. I usually get excited over purple pens, as most of you know, with my purple pen holder that only has purple pens. But I can't wait to start using these pens. The other close-up I'm going to do, which I didn't have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of in the previous video. No, I did. He did. So what was it? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I love witchy-themed cozy mysteries. And I especially love them when they feature cats. So this is the first in the Wonder Cats Mysteries by Harper Lynn. It's called A History of Magic. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up, and then I'm going to read the synopsis in the back. And believe me, I am looking forward to reading this book, to starting to read this book today. So, Kath Greenstone, her cousin Bee, and her hippie aunt Astrid live in Wonder Falls, a small town near the mystical Niagara Falls. They run the Brouhaha Cafe, and naturally they're witches hiding in plain sight, along with their 3 magical cats, Treacle, Peanut Butter, and Marshmallow. I'm going to say that these ladies, these witches, have a sweet tooth. I've had Treacle before, it's so good. I live for Peanut Butter, and Marshmallow I enjoy from time to time. When Brouhaha's baker is burnt to a crisp, along with their beloved cafe, Aunt Astrid lets out a big family secret. Da 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 da! I never get tired of doing that. A powerful spell book, a greenstone heirloom from the Salem days, has been stolen from its secret hiding spot in the cafe. If it's fallen into the wrong hands, black magic could destroy not only Wonder Falls, but the world. A secret society, a new detective with a shady past, a once bullied local returning to town as a multimillionaire. Who in town could know Kath's family secret? Kath, Bee, and Astrid must use their witch powers to uncover the deadly truth. Kath communicates with their cats, also magically inclined, and they help uncover more than one secret lurking in wonderful Wonder Falls. The first novel in a new cozy mystery series featuring modern-day witches and their magic cats. I love this, by the way. And yes, when I begin reading it, I'll let you know which is the black cat, because you know there's got to be at least one black cat in this cozy mystery. It's a short read. It's only 200 some odd pages, but I'm looking forward to this. Actually, it is exactly 225 pages. If you would count all the pages, it's 228. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to read a little bit of this tonight. Anyway, YouTube, as always, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I would like to give all of you advance notice that I am going on a vacation in August. So if you want to have your reading with me, whether it is through Catland, whether it is through Notions and Potions, whether it's in person at either one of those locations or in another location, and now that Ripley Greer has reopened their wonderful physical space, I'm available to give readings at Ripley Greer Studios again. You can have a phone reading, a Skype reading, an email reading, but I will be officially on vacation from, and I'm going to just make sure that I give you all the correct dates. Where's my pointer? There you are. Thank you so much. So, from Monday, August 9th through from Monday, August 3rd, from Monday, August 3rd through Sunday, August 9th, 2020. Which means that I may need a day or two to fully return to being back from my vacation. So I will be unavailable for readings from Saturday, August 1st through Tuesday, August 11th, and I will be available for readings again as of Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. So I highly recommend that you schedule your sessions with me now and avail yourself of my availability in July. And if you are not ready to schedule a reading with me between now and Friday, July 31st, 2020, then I would recommend either between Wednesday, August 12th and Monday, August 31st, or just go right to September. I wish all of you many blessings. Thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. And remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and schedule. And good night, many blessings, and stay tuned for the next video.